Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. How's everyone doing, and how was the start of your week? I hope everyone is okay. For today's video, we're still grinding with Volibear in the jungle. This time though, things have been pretty rough. Over the past 3 days, it's been exactly 1 win and 1 loss, and we're just not moving up. To be honest, I still don't know why. Maybe Riot is trying to fix their matchmaking, but in most cases, it seems like someone on the team isn't happy with their pick or how the game is going. But today we're trying something different because we've got a legendary matchup. As usual, we're facing a familiar foe in the jungle, Shaco. I honestly think Shaco in the jungle is one of the easiest matchups against Volibear. But in the top lane, we have a showdown. The dragon versus the monster. Even though I'm rooting for Warwick and I believe Warwick top is a fun matchup, but it's definitely an acquired taste. Not everyone likes playing Warwick in the deserted island, especially against the horrors of range versus melee. Let me just say something about this pick. I think every player who picks Smolder in the top lane needs to be executed with acidic vomit. Yeah, that's the nicest way to put it. Because seriously, why would anyone pick Smolder in the first place? I swear I have the worst win rate with these players. They have this entitled, childlike mentality where they think they deserve all the kills, all the farm, all the gold, and all the peel, just so they can throw one ability in the late game. What is this? That's not how you play. It's like they want us to play 4 versus 5 for 30 minutes just so they can deal damage at the end. Anyway, as annoying as it is, he's on my team. And as a teammate, I have to play accordingly. I've noticed that I perform terribly when my team has a weak top laner. That doesn't mean I'll camp top lane the entire game, but based on most of my games, if our top laner is inexperienced, trolling or feeding, that spot becomes a liability I can't compensate for, and that makes it a hard game for us. In this particular game, the only viable players I can gank are Hui and Pantheon, but it's tough. This Pantheon suffers from premature ejaculation syndrome. Since we failed the early invade, he lost all his mojo. He couldn't engage properly or even scare the enemy bot side at all. Every time I was around, he just hid behind the wave. I don't get it. Why pick a champion that's super aggressive from levels 2 to 3 if you're just going to play passively? Believe it or not, this is Emerald Elo. We're around Emerald 1, on the verge of Diamond. Most of the players are either demoted Diamond players or Plat players trying to reach Diamond. So in most games, it's like the creme de la creme of Emerald Diamond Elo. But hey, this is the situation we agreed to face. We're going to win with the tools we have at our disposal, and hopefully we won't let bad encounters in the early game affect our overall mentality. At this stage of the game, I'm very unhappy with this Smolder pick. I think Smolder was not a wise choice against Warwick, but our goal is to leverage whatever we can from that lane. I tried to gank at every possible opportunity, but it was a doomed experience from the start. Even on the bot side, you'd expect misfortune with that massive bosom to block at least 2 or 3 shots, but it seems our aura was leaking out of the character to the point where we got spiritually hit by Jhin's ultimate. We died there, and we also died in the top lane against Warwick. So yeah, we're in a very dire situation. Since I can no longer trust our top laner, and I had this feeling from Champ Select, I decided to go with Press the Attack. Press the Attack is your safe-to-go rune when you have no idea what to do. If you don't know how to play Volibear in the jungle or aren't familiar with the matchups, just go Press the Attack. It gives you damage, and damage carries games. Generally, the team that does the most damage should win the game because everyone starts fresh with the same amount of gold. But here's the trick. Even though we have the same amount of gold, we don't have the same champions. We don't have the same basic stats, abilities, or scaling. The choices you made in Champ Select determine everything. You are responsible for your own choices. This isn't real life where you're born black, white, Chinese, or whatever. Imagine if someone let you choose your traits when you were born. Would you be an elf, a human, a slave, or a robot? You choose your form of existence, then experience the game level by level. Your success is evaluated by your ability to generate gold and turn that gold into damage. That's the essence of League of Legends. So yeah, if you're clueless about what will happen in the game or how to play, Go with press the attack into Frozen Gauntlet, aka Iceborne Gauntlet these days. The rest should come naturally as the game progresses. If you don't know what to do by mid-game, that's on you. The truth is, it's hard to explain what to do in the mid-game because nobody knows how to play it in Emerald Elo. That's the pinnacle of problems in League of Legends. In Emerald and Diamond, nobody knows what to do, whether ahead or behind. At this stage, we're hopelessly losing bot side, mid lane is clueless, and top lane is non-existent. The top laner is just a lesser form of a super minion at this point. So yeah, if you're asking how I can win this game, well, the short answer is chaos, randomness, and uncertainty. I need to make the enemy team think that they are winning, but no matter what they do, we're always slightly losing. To achieve this, we need to slow the tempo and trick the enemy into making aggressive plays while we wait for major objectives. Of course, if the enemy team has any brains, they won't fall for this trick, because logically, if you lose the early game badly, you shouldn't be able to win. But everyone's got their own kind of stupid. We had ours in the early game, so let's hope the enemy team activates theirs in the mid or late game. Oddly enough, they say luck is random. But to be honest, if you're patient enough, eventually a lot of lucky things will happen to you. The same applies to League of Legends. For example, randomly and for some unknown reason, Smolder hit a power spike at 10 deaths and somehow managed to kill Shaco in a 1 versus 1. And by some mysterious force, we all happened to be near Baron at the 20-minute mark. Since that's the easiest Baron to get, we just needed to endure long enough to secure the buff and prolong the game a bit further so we could win more fights and maybe turn the game around. But here's the strange part. Even though we weren't doing well, we also hit a power spike. The enemy team's stupidity. After they failed to kill me under the tower, we were living the luxurious life with enough gold to be viable again. If you're wondering what skill or game knowledge made this possible, the truth is there isn't one. It just happened. There's no real explanation. It was meant to be, and we had to roll with it. This event made our team resemble a viable composition again because now we're playing to our strengths, catching people off guard in the jungle. And with Misfortune, Smolder, and Hui, we have strong area of effect damage. All we needed to do was block the front and kill whatever showed its face in the jungle. Of course, this only works if the team stays grouped and Warwick doesn't decide to split push. The moment Warwick or Yone or even Shaco start split pushing, we're back to square one, losing. But since the enemy team hasn't realized their strengths yet, we're slowly and sneakily trying to win the game. Our role has now shifted from ganking to peeling and catching enemies. The plan is simple. Whenever you see someone, start a fight. Based on past experiences, I'm tanky enough to endure most of their damage. They're not focusing me unless they have their summoners or ultimates ready. I just need to engage naturally. And I emphasize naturally. And the damage should follow if the engage is good. Otherwise, they'll start out maneuvering us slowly and forcing us to play defensively when we shouldn't be scared at all. Regarding my build, I went with the generic Volibear setup. Earlier in the game, I didn't have a clear idea of how things would go. I knew Smolder would struggle, but not this badly. So we went with Iceborne Gauntlet into Sundered Sky. And since I'm no longer sensing any serious threat from the enemy team, we picked up Navori to become more reliable in duels and skirmishes. This lets me get my stun off more frequently, catching most of the enemy team off guard. At this point, our focus is on ending the game. I don't care much about Drake's, Soul, or another Baron. We just need to end, and the fastest way is through the mid lane. They say all tactics are meaningless in the face of raw strength, and in terms of macro, that means all lanes are useless except for mid. It's the shortest lane. It gives you more escape possibilities. And since the side lanes are further apart, the enemy team will have a harder time responding. Some of them might even get their backs stopped, and you'll find yourself in a favorable situation. Once you have your summoners up, you can still escape safely from even the hardest traps. To demonstrate that Volibear doesn't need a lot of damage, just patience and good decision-making, this poor Jhin doesn't know what's coming. I've been held down the entire game by my team and by the enemy's meticulous crowd control heavy composition. But now, All the built-up rage from this game will be unleashed on this poor guy in one single blow. And sadly for him, it's not going to be a pleasant sight. Since I still have my summoner spells, I doubt any squishy targets will survive what's coming for them. And it appears my team has managed to make some good plays even without me. It seems we've all grown into strong, independent members of this team. With that, my dear viewers, our time together has come to an end. This is the final play of the game, and as usual, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and leave me a comment about your experiences, especially with Volibear, because I really like this champion. Otherwise, let me know what else you'd like me to test or which champions you want to see next. Don't forget to drop a like, and as always, see you in the next video. Take care everyone, have a good grind, and peace.